Here we have a dismal report for the box office here. Okay, Shazam is doing awful. Okay, so Shazam is doing abysmally at the box office. It is doing abysmally at the box office. So you have the daily box office performance for all the movies. Scream dropped 33% at the box office, but that movie is going to be profitable anyways. And the movie is actually having decent ratings. It's having the same ratings as the last Scream movie as well. But the thing is, there's so many major movies coming out right now that this is good. This was going to damage Shazam's box office. The economy is doing abysmally, which also is not helping this movie's box office prospects as well. As saving a Creed. Creed is doing pretty well. Creed is broken even now at the box office. Which means, unlike Shazam, Creed has basically broken even. 65 is doing terribly at the box office, as you all know. It is, but yeah. And Ant-Man is still doing horribly. Ant-Man actually is actually having a decent, no, it's probably still abysmal. 1.75 is probably abysmal. I think that's abysmal. Okay, it's abysmal. It's still doing abysmally at the box office. But Shazam! Fury of the Gods. Okay. This movie came out. Okay. And obviously nobody's seen it. Okay, because you look at the poll for this movie. Okay. Nobody has seen it. Nobody is caring enough to see Shazam! Fury of the Gods. Okay. Nobody is, like, caring. Okay. But this movie is doing worse than Birds of Prey. Yep. You heard me right here. Birds of Prey. Remember that movie? Okay. And only 34 people have put on the poll for Shazam! Fury of the Gods and 125 people for the Toy Story 3 poll. Which means nobody has seen Shazam! Fury of the Gods. Okay. Nobody watched the movie. And the box office is showing this right here. The movie is doing way worse than most movies. Okay? So Shazam! Fury of the Gods isn't really doing all too well. And we can compare it to other movies. Okay? Let's compare it to another couple of box office bombs and failures in the superhero genre. Okay, we have Birds of Prey. Okay. Okay, Birds of Prey was a failure. Okay. It is a failure. Birds of Prey is. Okay. They're not updated this, but this is doing 1 million worse than Birds of Prey. Birds of Prey, because of the pandemic, ended up making $84 million domestically. It probably would have made slightly more money if the pandemic didn't come around as well. But this movie will probably made slightly more money, probably a couple million more, if the pandemic didn't come around. Okay, it is doing way worse than the first Shazam. First Shazam opened with 20 million, and ended up making 56 million as well. This is the 11 million, of course, includes the 4 million in the 3.5 million, 3.6 million for the previews. 3.4 million in Thursday preview. So this is doing abysmally. 7 million on Friday. That's abysmal for Shazam. Okay. Abysmal. Okay. Abysmal. Okay, since first Shazam made around $140 million at the box office, despite, Endgame coming out. Okay, it's doing worse than a movie like, let's add in Morbius. Okay, that movie. Remember Morbius? Okay, Morbius is doing worse than Morbius. Okay, it is doing worse than Morbius. Okay. And Morbius, of course, has abysmal ratings at the box office. Okay, it's even doing worse than, but it's doing, basically, let's look at Dark Phoenix as well. These are all three of these movies are historic flops in the superhero movies. It's even doing worse than Dark Phoenix and Morbius. That means this movie will obviously not hit $100 million. Okay, there's a possibility it does, but considering there's competition coming out, we have 3 more movies. Dungeons and Dragons is gonna flop. Okay, but we have John Wick and Mario coming out. Okay, John Wick is coming out. It's gonna make a lot of money, and Mario's gonna come out and make a lot of money. This movie was always doomed to fail if they released it around this time. It was probably doomed to fail even if it released against Avatar, but it's just no one has interest in watching Shazam: Fury of the Gods. Okay. No one has any interest in seeing this movie. This is a failure on epic proportions, and I think we're starting to see the death of superhero films. That's like how we saw the death of westerns and war movies back in the day. Westerns used to be like the biggest box office draw. They used to draw billions of dollars at the box office. Not billions of dollars, but millions of dollars at the domestic box office. Not billions, sorry. But probably doesn't for a reason, some probably did, but they used to be the biggest box office draws. They used to be the movies that everybody wanted to see. Okay? And do you see many westerns being released nowadays? Okay? No, you don't always see many westerns being released nowadays. Okay? Because westerns don't really make that much money anymore. Okay? I think the last western they released was like Cry Macho and no one watched it. Okay? They probably released a couple in that last year. But yeah, Cry Macho was a western movie released by Clint Eastwood and no one watched it. Of course, it was released during the pandemic. But it had awful wigs at the box office. Okay, it had awful wigs at the box office. Of course, it was released during the pandemic. Of course, there was no part of a franchise. But yeah, it was a failure. It was another western movie that nobody watched. I don't see western here, but yeah, this movie was a failure anyways. Okay, we don't really get western movies anymore. Okay, that's basically the point of this thing we're talking about. We don't get western movies anymore, and superhero movies might go the way of westerns, which they're obviously going now. Okay. The only difference between superhero movies and westerns is I think that, characters like Batman, Superman will still continue making millions even if superhero movies are dead. Even if the rest of superhero movies don't make money, they're going to still see them trying to bring back Batman, Superman, and all these characters that we know, like Iron Man and Superman, because, again, but even then, I don't think it will work. People only watch Batman movies so many times. Okay? People only watch something so many times. Is 1001 a western? No, it isn't. Do we even get westerns? Yeah, we don't even get westerns anymore. Like, where's western? Westerns. Apparently, western is not a keyword. So you have weapons of mass destruction, ready. Yeah, we don't have western. I don't see western here. But yeah, westerns are not really a huge genre anymore. And I think we're going to see the same thing with superhero movies as well. And that's where it ends this video here. Goodbye.